Welcome, everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I am Paula Mitchell, and I'm the housing director here at ECOG. And with me, I have Mark Culver and Nicole Buse. And welcome to Turbo Talks. The Turbo Talks are topics that we do monthly that are germane to the work that you do and can be covered in 30 minutes or less. So thanks for joining. And I just want to remind you that we will have a couple of upcoming talks. In August, we will have the derelict building program covered by our environmental services director, Alicia Presto. And in September, LD Miller from the city of Ely will be covering some AI tools that the cities use to improve some of their processes. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Mark to kick off the Lead Hazard Reduction Grant Program, Turbo Talk.
Hello, I'm Mark Culver. Thanks for joining us today. We'll make this fairly quick. It won't take the full 30 minutes, so we'll have time for questions afterwards. So ECOG was awarded $3.1 million through HUD with local match from our community partners for lead hazard reduction in healthy homes. With those funds, we can identify and address lead-based paint hazards in healthy homes repairs in 90 homes. These homes will all have to be built prior to 1978. Their program goals for the program is to reduce childhood lead exposure, improve safety in older housing, preserve affordable housing, and improve long-term community health. There are a lot of health concerns with lead. So dangers of lead exposure. Lead is a toxic metal that can be found in paint used in homes prior to 1978. So lead was outlawed in 1978. So any houses built after 1978 should not have lead. But any homes built prior to 1978 before that law ban has the potential of to have lead-based paint in the home. Lead-based paint hazards can be chipping and peeling paint as well as lead dust. So chipping and peeling paint would be when the paint's deteriorated, chipping and peeling. Lead dust can occur with kind of friction items. You know, if you open a window, you got wood rubbing against wood, so that's kind of a friction item, and that can create lead dust. Soil contaminations can also be found. The exterior paint, when that kind of deteriorates, chips off and falls on the ground, that can contaminate the soil. So we typically test around the perimeter of the house all the way around for bare soil. Lead exposure can cause brain and nervous system damage, learning disabilities and lower IQs, speech and development delays, behavioral problems and attention difficulties. Young children are especially vulnerable because their bodies absorb lead more easily. So if you take a little bit of lead and you give the same amount of lead to a small child and a full adult, the child will have less blood in their system than what an adult does. So if you take the same quantity in both bodies, it'll be more potent in the child because, you know, it doesn't have that blood to spread out. So it'll be more potent and more dangerous in the child than what it would for an adult. It would be diluted in an adult and more concentrated in a child. And so that's why we're targeting homes with children. Statistics that we kind of ran up on lead testing in Iowa children. 1 in 5 Iowa newborns tested had elevated blood levels at birth, and 76% of Iowa children tested between 2018 and 2022 under the age of 6 had detectable lead in their bodies. But that is the 4th highest rate in the nation. And so those weren't necessarily what they call danger levels, but it does show that there is lead in the areas that they're playing. And you could argue any lead is not good lead. So the goal is to have 0 lead. CDC recommends to have 0 lead levels in anybody for that matter. So Iowa's housing stock is aging, or is quite old. The median age is 51 years in Iowa, and the median year built is 1973. So keep in mind, lead-based paint is up through 1978. Share of homes built before 1980, right? Just after that 1978 year, 59.6. So over half the homes were built before 1980. Share of homes built before 1940, 22.4. So a quarter of them, almost a quarter, were prior to 1940. So we do have potential for a lot of lead in Iowa. So who qualifies for the grants? Residents may qualify if they own or rent a home built prior to 1978. So our other programs, we haven't been able to do rental units, and with this, we can do rental units. The renter would be the income qualified person on that. So they would have to meet income eligible requirements. So the homeowner or the renter would have to be income eligible, and they work with Nicole on that. They must live somewhere within our 6-county region, which includes Benton, Iowa, Jones, Johnson, Lynn, or Washington County. And they must have a child age 5 or younger living in the home permanently or frequently visiting the home. So this could include grandparents who may watch their grandkids on a regular basis. And it also could include a pregnant person residing in the home. If they're going to be having children living in the home, that would qualify them to be enrolled in the program. So what does the inspection process look like? We would conduct a lead inspection with an XRF analyzer on all painted surfaces, including walls, ceiling, floors, windows, doors, and all trims. So the XRF analyzer is a tool that we carry around, and we can literally put it up against the wall, and it will give us immediate reading. Does that wall have lead? What the content of that lead is? And then from there, we can do the assess of the condition of that painted surface to determine, is that a lead hazard? Just because a wall has lead in it does not necessarily mean it's a lead hazard. It only becomes a lead hazard if it has chipping or peeling or has a friction surface that may cause dust. So we'd also test for radon while we're there. And then we'd inspect the home for healthy homes needs, which could include moisture, mold, and also general air quality. We would test the bare soil for lead contamination. So that would be the exterior paint. If that was chipping and peeling off and falling on the ground, that could contaminate the soil and then make that dangerous if that were to be touched and then hand to mouth as kids do. We'd document the property's condition with photographs. We take several photos. And then we discuss any questions or concerns that the occupants may have. So do they have a child that has tested high for lead? Do they have a child that has asthma issues? And, then we kind of look for more of the healthy homes or air quality issues. So it's kind of all inclusive in that. But for us to do any work on any home, we would need to have lead work in order to have them be entered in the program. So what assistance can include lead hazard mitigation. So we look to get rid of that chipping and peeling paint or address those friction areas. We also can do radon mitigation systems. If the radon reading from our testing comes back higher than a 4.0, that is the action level, then we can install a radon mitigation system. And depending on the home's needs, assistance could include new windows, new doors, interior and exterior painting, paint stabilization, health and safety repairs, and then that could be the mold or the furnaces, could be an air quality, and then air quality concerns as well. So there is no cost to eligible owners or occupants. So a renter doesn't pay anything. A homeowner doesn't pay anything. There's a 3-year forgivable mortgage placed on the property for home ownership and as well as renters or rental units. And there is a match requirement for landlords. So the landlords themselves would have to put in money for the rehab assistance on the home for the repairs done to the home. It'd be a percentage on that. And so there are some other things that the landlords need to have in place as well, but for this purpose, we won't get too far into those.
We'll just say for this
Yeah.
purpose that we've tried to make the matching requirement for landlords very low barrier.
Sure.
So they do need to have some money in, but the intent is that it not be cost prohibitive
Right.
for them to participate.
So how can you and your community help? Well, you can share the program information on your local website. Post flyers in public buildings, share social media posts, include information on newsletters or utility bills inserts. Help connect us with local organizations serving families, including school districts. Nicole has several options for that. If you want to mention some of those.
Yeah, so I have a program flyer and a program pamphlet that is available. If you want me to send that directly to you, feel free to put your contact info in the chat box. Otherwise, it's listed on our website as well as all applications. Those are available on there as well. But anyone that's interested or has questions about the intake process could just reach out directly to me.
So Nicole is the kind of first contact for any landlord or homeowner. She'll be taking in the application and doing the income verification process. And then obviously the best way you can help us is refer residents who may qualify to ECOG, and then we can work with them for getting everything rolling.
And yeah, one of the ways that maybe communities can think about this too is if they have issues with nuisance properties and that nuisance is specifically exterior chipping and peeling paint, this might be a program that people could be referred to help with things like that if there is lead present.
Yeah, and it is if there's lead present, yes. Home built before 1978, and they must have children in the home.
Yeah.
Or visiting. So we would like to thank all of our partners because we did have to come up with local match in order to get the $3.1 million. So the Housing Fund for Lynn County, East Central Iowa Housing Trust Fund of Johnson County, City of Cedar Rapids, Greater Cedar Rapids Community Foundation, and ECOG also put some money in there as well. So that would not be possible without local match for any of this work. But our contact info, like I said, application marketing, Nicole has all of that. She'll be the initial contact for homeowners and landlords and also renters. And then inspections is where I would step in. We'd come out and do the inspections, work with the homeowner with the construction process and getting contractors involved, and then regular program management. So we'd open up to the questions now. If anybody has any questions, we kind of ran through that pretty quick. But we'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody may have regarding the program. You can either put it in the chat box, or I don't know if you can unmute and do that.
I'm curious as a homeowner, how long the process might take.
So that's a loaded question there. So in a perfect world, we could get the inspection done, fairly quickly once. Well, let me back up a little bit. The income verification process would be kind of the first step on that. So we'd have to go through that. So that would be depending on how fast we could get that documentation. Nicole can usually get that pushed through, within a couple of days if everything is with the application as far as what is needed for income qualification. The inspection process would then go next, and that's where we'd visit the home, and that could be possibly the next week. And then that would take a couple of weeks to kind of get all the paperwork and everything in that nature done. And then we would submit that. So it would be after the inspection, probably 6 weeks is when we would be the earliest we'd look to go out to bid for contractors to bid the project and get work done. Usually that's a 2-week window on that. And then we can sign contracts with that. And then it's kind of dependent on the contractor as far as availability on that. So the short answer is 2 months from time they submit the application. We may be able to get some work done, but it could be a little bit longer depending on contractor availability and if we run into any other issues. But the best case scenario would probably be 2 months.
Thank you, thanks.
Anybody else? So we'd be happy to answer any questions. If you were to come up with anything, as soon as this is over, I'm sure everybody will think of a question that they may have. You can reach out to either Nicole or I. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you may think of. And we can send out the Turbo Talk in an email if you wish to have that as well. And it'll also be put on our website if you want to reference back to that. But I think we'll put it to an end and we'll close it here. I appreciate you for joining us. Again, if you do have any questions, let us know. Thank you.
Thank you.